What's up, guys? Dr. Doll here. Welcome to another video. It is currently evening right now. The sun is almost set, so I apologize if the lighting is weird. Also, I'm in my closet, just it's kind of normal now that all my videos are filmed in my closet. So, again, lighting's probably not the best because, number one, in a closet, and number two, there's no natural light. So, sorry about that. Anyways, it's about time that let's see, I've already reviewed the My Life dolls from Walmart, and I have reviewed the 18-inch Journey Girls dolls. That was the former Toys R Us line. So I think it's time for me to finally review the big one. I would say the majority of people, when you ask them for an affordable alternative to American Girls, the majority of people are going to answer with Our Generation, which has been the Target line of 18-inch dolls since the late 90s, really. And Batat still makes these. Batat Toy Company has been in business since 1897, I think. They claim to be a family-run business, even though all their toys are made in China. On their website, it actually says, all of our toys are made with love in China, which is kind of funny, but anyways, but Batat has been making them the entire time. They've never passed hands to a different company, unlike the My Life dolls that started originally as Madame Alexander, and have now been passed to other companies. So the fact that Batat has been making dolls and selling them in Target stores in the U.S., for 20 plus years now is pretty impressive. They're obviously doing something right. The fact that they've had this partnership for so long. So I know that I knock Our Generation dolls sometimes for them having like a dead blank stare, but they obviously have done something right, or otherwise these dolls wouldn't still be around. I remember buying Our Generation dolls when I was a wee child in the 90s. So the fact that you can still today go to a Target store and buy an Our Generation doll and it's still being made by Batat, I mean, that's really saying something, especially since even the American Girl doll company has changed hands. It was the Pleasant Company, founded by Pleasant Rowland, and she sold it, I think it was in 98, to Mattel. So even American Girls they've switched hands from company to company, and this has stayed in the same hands for a couple decades now. So let's get into it. So first of all, I tried to film actually going into the store and buying this girly, and I thought I had filmed it. Turns out I didn't, or the footage got corrupted. So I'm sorry, I don't have that footage. It was kind of lackluster anyways. It was just me going down the Our Generation aisle. And I mean, the aisle looks very nice. It's just a row of pink because of the packaging that they use. She was not my first choice. She was not my second choice of dolls. So this is Sienna. She's a very basic looking, I know that sounds kind of mean, but she's a very basic looking, just brunette with brown eyes, light skin tone. So the doll that I was drawn to initially was she had like this dark red hair and freckles and like gray eyes. I had never seen that particular Our Generation doll before, and I think she might be a newer design. She looked very unique to me, and so I was drawn to her. They only had one of her in the store though, and her eye, like she had one eye that was totally like rotated sideways. And I have never tried to rotate the Our Generation doll eyes before. I know that they are sized a little bit differently than American Girl doll eyes. So I just didn't want to like buy a brand new doll and then try to rotate her eye and then end up breaking a brand new doll. So I just stayed clear. And then there was another doll that had like dark skin and she had like a couple freckles around her nose I thought was super cute. And then I didn't get her because she had like a giant mark on her arm, like a scuff mark. So I just kind of like, towards the end, I was just like, I just need to buy a doll, any doll. So I ended up with her because she was one of the cheaper ones. Again, just like at Walmart, there were a couple of different price points. So there were dolls like this where you just get the doll and her outfit, I think was like $24.99. And then there was like a $29.99 option, and then there was a $34.99 option. And the more expensive ones came with more accessories. Like some of them came with a little animal, like a dog or a cat. And there were some cute dolls. Now, all of the girl dolls had the same face mold. It's this very basic face mold. Every single doll, no matter what their skin tone, no matter what their hair color, their eye color, they all have the same exact face mold. There were 2 boy dolls that I saw, and the boys have they have their own face mold, which was kind of cool. I mean, at least there's 2 different faces. You know, it'd be nice if they had more than just 2 different faces, but anyways, so I ended up with her, and just right off the bat, I'm very intrigued by their marketing ploy here, their marketing strategy, because most doll companies, most people that sell and market dolls, I feel like they try to really emphasize and draw attention to the doll themselves. So, you remember, let me grab real quick. Okay, I'm back. So, remember, Siobhan. So, Siobhan is immediately just very eye-catching. She has a very striking, color scheme going on. There's a lot of contrast. She has these big eyes with these big lashes that just sort of catch your eye. So with her, when she was in the box, I immediately was just drawn to her. And the My Life dolls, it was very similar, maybe on a little smaller scale. You know, maybe it wasn't as cute of an outfit or as nice of an outfit, but they used very bright, bold colors so that your eye kind of gets drawn to them. You're walking down the aisle and it's eye-catching. It pops out at you. There's still a lot of contrast going on. Big eyes again. Whereas with the Our Generation dolls, they've used a different strategy where the doll herself is actually very basic looking. And I don't mean that in a mean way. The doll herself is just very average, very ordinary. She looks like an ordinary girl. It's the packaging that really catches your eye, which is interesting because most people will exaggerate the features of the doll herself or of their outfit to draw that attention, to make it pop. But Our Generation said, no, we want to make the doll look like a normal, average person, and we want to make the packaging really bright and stand out. I mean, you've got like this high contrast yellow against hot pink against orange. You've got orange polka dots against hot pink. You've got hearts. This packaging is super exciting and it's super eye-catching, and there's so much contrast and so much to look at. And then you get to the doll and you're like, and the doll is fine, you know? I don't know. It's for me, and this is me being super nitpicky, and I'm sorry. For me, I like the doll to be the star. I want her to shine. I want her to draw me in. I want her to have a look that just says, buy me, you know, whereas this is saying, look at this fun packaging that you're gonna recycle, you know, you're gonna get home and you're gonna immediately just chuck it in the recycling bin. So does it work? Yeah, obviously it works because they've been around for so long selling these dolls, but I don't know. To me, it's interesting because the doll herself just looks very blah, I guess. They didn't even use a high contrast outfit, you know, with Siobhan. It's just bam, you know, like so much contrast. She has this bright red cape that's this unusual design, and it's striking. Her outfit and color palette is rose gold or rosy pink, dusty rosy pink, and brown, which I have brown hair and brown eyes, and I don't like to wear the color brown because it's too much. It's too much of the same color. I like to create more contrast. So when I actually, you know, dress up, which you guys have never seen because I never leave the house, I like to wear bright colors. I like to wear high contrast. I like to wear yellows and greens and blues because I feel like if I was to just walk around with a giant brown vest, like, it would just not look very good on me. I don't know. Does that make any sense? Like you want to contrast your colors so that, because it will actually make your eyes pop more if you wear something that's opposite. So, if you want to, for instance, if you have brown eyes and you want to make your eyes pop, you should wear like blue eyeshadow, or purple eyeshadow. You want to wear, like, if you look at the color wheel, the one that's on the opposite is what you should put next to. Does that make any sense? Am I just rambling? But I wouldn't have chosen this, like, for a brunette with brown eyes, I wouldn't have chosen this very large surface area of a brown vest here. I just think it's kind of a missed opportunity. I would have much rather have had, like, so here's one of Sage's outfits. Like, I feel like this color would have been much more flattering on her, much more striking on her. Just this like bright blue. See how much that makes her features pop? As opposed to just a blah brown vest. So I've been talking a lot, and I haven't actually opened this doll. So now that I've talked, now we can actually look at the doll and see if we are impressed, if we're not impressed. Now, I'm pretty familiar with our generation dolls. I've worked on a bunch, but I have noticed that they've changed their designs recently. Maybe I'm crazy, but I think they've upped their game a little bit, and I don't know when that happened exactly. A lot of the dolls that I work on that are TLC are like 10 years old. So sometime in the last decade, I believe they have upped their game a little bit with the designs of these dolls. And I don't know if that necessarily means that they're higher quality. as much as their designs are just more aesthetically pleasing. I noticed several dolls in the store that I had never seen before. And I was pleasantly surprised with that. Now, as with most doll companies and manufacturers, they could really use a lot more diversity with their dolls. I did notice there were a couple of African American options, and I say a couple, there was maybe 2, which is, it's better than some, but it's still not great. I don't think there were any medium tone skin dolls. It definitely could have been better. It's definitely not the worst I've seen, but I don't know, like, doll companies in general just kind of need to figure it out and get it together, because anyways, so let me get her out here, and here she is. Okay, so she's cute, don't get me wrong, like, she is cute. But again, there's just nothing very special about her. Like, when you buy a doll and you just want her to be something unique and beautiful and special. And to me, she's very cute. She's very pretty. But she does look very, just not very exciting, if that makes any sense. Like, when I put her next to Siobhan, which one draws your eye? Now I've got, both of these have light skin and brunette hair. Which one is more striking? And maybe that's just me. I don't know. So what the Our Generation dolls do have going for them is their proportions. Their proportions are very similar to the American Girl dolls. So they are virtually the same size, which is probably why they are the most common affordable alternative, is just their clothes fit really well. So size-wise, they are very similar. Whereas the My Life and the Journey doll, both of them have a little more extreme proportions. This one is probably the most similar to the American Girl doll line. So let's undress her and talk about articulation. And can I take your vest off? You're very attached to this vest, I can see. Hold on a second. Okay, we have taken her clothes off. Now, again, yeah, so the articulation is on a swivel. It's just forward and back for both arms and legs. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Their legs, when they're like this, they do this weird V, and it makes it difficult for them to stand up by themselves. Now, she might actually be able to stand. I'll put her on a flat surface and see if she will do it. All right. Okay. All right. She's standing. She is standing. I have seen brand new Our Generation dolls. Now, granted, this may have been a decade or two ago, but I've seen brand new Our Generation dolls that could not stand because of this weird articulation that they have where their feet meet in the middle. Now, one thing that I didn't mention on the Journey Girls review is that their legs are only on a swivel as well, but they fixed the weird V problem by making the proportions of the hips wider. So if you look, I'm so sorry, avert your eyes. But if you look, see how they've increased this gap between their legs. It's actually made it more stable so that it's kept her legs from doing this weird V at the bottom. So even though their legs are on a swivel back and forth like this, it actually, because they have separated the legs more than on the Our Generation dolls, it's actually balanced out the proportion at the bottom a lot better, and it makes them more stable and it's easier to stand. So they were very clever with their design about that. The My Life dolls and the Our Generation dolls, they have the narrower hips, and so you get that awkward V with the legs that I'm not a huge fan of. So she can stand regardless of that, which is great. I don't like this weird meshy material that they make the bodies with nowadays. It used to be more of a canvas. Here is a slightly older Our Generation doll that I just happen to have in my closet. And it's made out of the canvas material, and I like this much better. This is weird feeling. I'm not sure why. Maybe it wicks moisture better. So maybe there's like a scientific, practical reason for it. I don't have a whole lot to say. She's, everything's very basic. Her head does move on a swivel. It's fastened by a zip tie in the back. One thing that you will see with the Our Generation dolls is that their necks are a little bit taller and a little bit more narrow than the American Girl dolls, which, depending on how secure their necktie is, sometimes they can get a little head tilt going on, especially if they have very thick and heavy hair. I have seen their necks sort of, over time just sort of this start bending like that. So that might be a design flaw, I don't know, kind of up to you to decide. Now, hair-wise, I have to say, not impressed with the hair. It's not very soft. Compared to the My Life doll and the Journey Girls doll, these both have just very soft, silky, shiny hair. And this is very, I don't know, it already feels dry in a way. It's not coarse feeling necessarily, but the ends already kind of look frizzy and dry. Do you see that? Like, it already looks, I just got her out of the box and it already just kind of looks frizzy. Wait, hold on. Okay, she's got a weird ponytail going on. Let's take that out. And let's brush this bad boy and see what the damage is. Because, any little girl that gets her dolly, she's going to want to brush the hair. So we're going to just brush and see how much we lose. Okay, we're already losing some hair.